Hey guys, Chad here, Real Patriots Fishing. Today I want to show you guys a little overview of how I set up my Hobie PA14. PA14 is a couple years old. It's great kayak. I just want to give you guys an overview of how I do my setup. I know everyone has their own type of setup, but we're going to jump into it. I'm going to show you kind of front to back. I'm going to show you the cart that I made and talk a little bit about kind of each item and why I have it set up how I do. So stay tuned. All right, we're going to start at the front, just kind of work our way back, and I'll just kind of go through and explain a couple things. So on my front hatch, I carry a couple different things here. So there's a steel tube rod. I carry this because I do have those fins, and sometimes you will bend those masts. It's just a steel tube to bend the metal piece of the rod that kicks back, or a bends if you hit some type of oyster bar or something. Carry a small net, my extra gulps, usually a lanyard in case I gotta pull somebody, or I need to be pulled, or I gotta drag through sand or oysters. Also keep a cast net for bait. Let me pull this tray out here and show you guys how I have my battery set up while we're here. So I keep it pretty simple. I don't have the Hobie battery, I just have the Nokia battery. It's a great system. This battery lasts a really long time. I can go for weeks without charging it. I run a pretty small fish finder, so it doesn't really, draw a lot of amperage. But again, I can run that thing for a long time. All I do is this thing comes completely out, and I can just disassemble it and charge it, and then throw it right back on. And I don't have to worry about fumbling with the wires or anything like that. And this is nice because it's all kind of compact, and you don't want to be messing with more wires than what you have to. I know a lot of guys got a lot of stuff rigged up to whereas they got panel switches and just a bunch of different stuff inside their kayak. And for me, I get water inside this kayak when I'm taking waves over the bow. I transport this kayak over rough roads. For me, that's just more stuff to break. So again, I keep it very clean, very simple. These wires go directly to the fish finder there. And I'll show you that. So just using the Hobie through-hole fittings to a rail mount. It's just a small Garmin Striker 4. It's basically just to use to see temperature, mark a couple fish, and to look for those drop-off points. It ain't anything fancy, but it just gets the job done, and I think it cost me like $125 total. So you can't go wrong staying cheap on some of these kayak things because you're going to put money into somewhere else. All right, kind of moving back. Obviously, you got the drive system. I do have the kick-up fins in the reverse, and I absolutely love that. Moving from a couple other kayaks that I had to this thing, having that instant reverse is a game changer, especially when you're bass fishing. Not so much out there in the marsh, but there's times where I've been fighting a redfish or something, or a trout next to some pilings and some docks. And let me tell you, having that instant reverse, being able to pop in there, has really come in handy. I do also have the Hobie Tray. I absolutely love this thing. I know it's kind of expensive, but I got it as a gift. I keep my little saltwater gulp trays in here because that's primarily what I fish with. I also keep a pair of pliers, some braided scissors, and some fish grips and a knife. And then what I'll do is, I throw my tackle that I'm not using, my different colored gulps and jig heads and whatnot, inside this tray when I'm kind of filtering through and fishing, trying to find out what I'm going to use for that day. Got the pretty simple Railblaze star system, track mounted or Hobie mounted, I guess, rod holder. It's a good rod holder. It's very sturdy. These things are kind of personal preference. I've seen a lot of guys that hate having them on the rails here. I like this just mostly for sticking my rod in here when I am stopped and I'm changing my baits up. You know, I don't have to move it all the way to the front. I can just put my rod right in here and I can kind of go to town and fix what I need to fix. Still kind of keep on this side. I do have one Burley Pro side on here. This is the Side Bro. I pretty much use this one for my phone. I got a little lanyard here. This goes around my phone, and then I just keep it attached. And that's just a personal thing. Sometimes I'll throw some tackle in there, or, you know, maybe if I got a sandwich or something I want to put in there, I'll also put that in there. But I don't have one on the other side, and I'll explain that in a second why. I've had these in multiple different configurations, but basically this is the one I like so far. I put my cup holder back here. Cup stays out of the way, so I have plenty of room to fight fish. I could throw fish in the bottom of this. I could throw tackle boxes in here. But I used to have a PA12, and basically when you have the PA12 and you have this box on there, it takes up a lot of leg room and a lot of storage, and you're kind of tight for space. So that's another reason why I love this PA14. It's definitely overkill for any type of fishing you're going to do, but I tell you what, you have more storage in here and more leg room and the ability to just kind of feel free than you do in any other kayak. And I've owned Jackson's big rigs before, and I've owned a couple other ones before. I got two of the Hobie rod tubes that just slide down in here. They get really tight, so they're not going to go anywhere once you get in there. Basically, I do a lot of trolling out of this kayak when I'm saltwater fishing. I will fish for striper out of it, and I will basically put two rods back here. I'll put a rod here, and then I'll have a rod in my hand. So I'll be trolling four rods at the same time to maximize my potential for a good hookup. I do have the Hobie sand wheels, although I don't necessarily care for them. They're really tough to get underneath this kayak, as you guys know. If you own one, or if you're looking to own one, that's another consideration to have, is those Hobie wheels do not go in very easy. You have to tip this thing to the side or pick it up, or most of the time I don't fish alone, so I always have a buddy with me. He picks it up, I throw the wheels under. You know, it makes it pretty simple. But it's still a big pain in the butt. But if you got a trailer, man, that's the way to go. Trailer these things, and you'll never have a complaint about them at all. So I kind of went over my Garmin Striker. Again, real simple unit, nothing special to it. Under the seat here, I keep a little box. It's just got like a first aid kit, some lines, some sunscreen. You know, you can throw whatever you want in it. You know, maybe a cold drink, or a cigar or two, or just whatever you're feeling for the day. And you can fit multiple boxes in there. I typically only keep one, just because, again, I like to have kind of a clean deck. In my bin storage here, well, lack of bin storage, I do not store the bins because it collects water and you got to drain it, and I just didn't really care for it. Again, it's a personal preference. I've had one in there before. I didn't really care for it. I found that I was just collecting a bunch of lures and junk, and I basically just reserved this just for lures. You know, it's nice to pop the box in, pop the box out, and keep it out of your way. And you can also, like, I'm a short dude. I'm only 5'6", so pretty much all this up here is extra leg room for me. My legs don't go past this. And so I can store a cooler up here. I can store cast net. I can store a bait catcher. Just whatever you want. There's plenty of room up there, especially on that side because I don't put rods. This side I will store my rods when I'm traveling. And what I do is I'll take my rod and I'll lay it right here. And I'll close this. And then I will loop this under my rod and I'll come back over. Now this leash here is actually not for the chair. It's actually for your unit, to keep your unit tight. Which I didn't know that for a long time. I always thought this was for the chair, but it's not. It's actually, if you read the manual, it's for that. All right, what else here? So how I run my paddle. I used to have paddle clips on the side. I used to have a rod trolley on the side. I kind of got rid of all that stuff and just went really clean with it. I like this method the best. Keeping those rod holders down on the side does two things for me. It keeps everything out of the way while I'm fighting a fish. So you see how I'm moving this back and forth. So when I get out in the water, it's right here. When I'm fishing, it's all the way to the back, and now I can pull a fish in over the top of this corner with no problem. This is not going to be in my way. And the other reason I have this on the side is because, in my opinion, these things are just junk. They're there to hold the paddles, but again, you can see if you have a rod tube or if you have anything else, this is going to be blocked, and you're also going to have your paddle just kind of stuck right here, and it's going to be in your way. When you put your rods in here, your rods are going to be hitting your paddle. It's, I always worried about them breaking off or coming out of here and losing them. So I don't even use these things. I don't use them at all because I have this set up the way it is. These are actually for your rods. When I'm bass fishing, I'll take this off. I'll put that this paddle on the other side. I'll flip these up, and then I'll have about 5 or 6 fishing rods laying across the top right here that I have access to the whole time. All right, let's talk life vest for a second. So my life vest, I use a Hobie Life Preserver. You can buy the cheap ones if you want. You can buy the Onyx ones. Those are pretty good brands. This one to me was the most comfortable that I tried on. I've had absolutely no problems with it. I'm the type of guy that hates wearing stuff when I'm out on the water. But, in the summertime when it's hot, you don't want to have a big life jacket on. This thing is absolute gold. Put a couple multi-tools in there. I store measuring tape in here and a couple cigars usually for when I'm out on the water. And that thing is just, it's been really nice. I'll put that on the big boat and I'll wear that on the big boat as well. And I absolutely love it. I highly recommend getting a life preserver like this. You'll wear it a lot more, and that's the intended purpose is to have it. There's too many people that drowned every year from accidents and stuff, and nobody wants to wear a big bulky one like I got up on my wall. You want to be wearing those small ones where it's more comfortable. So that's pretty much the setup for the kayak. Like I said, I keep it pretty simple. I don't try and go overboard on too much stuff. I don't like to be fumbling with a bunch of stuff while I'm out on the water. I like to just have ease of access. I'll also carry this little soft cooler with me. What I'll do is I'll freeze 2 water jugs, and I'll put 2 frozen water jugs in here, and it'll last all day. And then I might have a little personal cooler with some food in it, and some drinks for myself. The other thing I recommend doing is especially if you're going to be winter fishing, these NRS boots. Man, these are absolute fire. They're awesome. I do a lot of fall time fishing. When that transition time, when that water is not so warm, when you don't want to be stepping your feet in it, those things are great. I will wear these boots everywhere. You leave them on. You can walk into the water. Just tuck your pants into them, your waterproof pants, and you can go all day. Your feet stay warm and dry, and you don't got to worry about anything else. So that's pretty much the overview of the kayak. I'll give you a little shot of the trailer that I made. Me and my wife actually made this together. It's a great holder. I've had a couple different versions of kayak carts and stuff, but this one's pretty simple. It's all made out of 2x4s. It's got 2 2x4s covered in carpet down the middle, and you can see I can still put my drive in there. I could even put stuff down on the side here if I wanted to store everything. If you had limited storage, you could basically put everything you wanted to underneath that cart. So, I'll put a link to this, to the cart from the guy that I kind of borrowed it from. He's got a YouTube channel. I can't remember his name off the top, but I'll put a link somewhere in this video so you guys can click on it and check it out. And he actually lists out all the parts and tools and everything you need, but it's awesome. What's really nice about it is I can just grab it with one hand here, and I can pull it and move it just with one hand. And that's nice because for those of you that own big kayaks, you know that the worst part about owning a big kayak is moving it off the water. Great when it's on the water, bad when it's off the water. So that's everything I got for you guys today. I hope I could provide you guys with a little bit of information on how I rig my PA14. Shoot me some questions if you have any questions. I've rigged these things a bunch of different ways and had multiple PA12s and PA14s, and this is the one I'll be sticking with, and this is pretty much the way I'll be rigging it from here on out. So hit that subscribe button, and hopefully you guys like this video. It's my first video, so don't be too harsh on me.